G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I got a super special one. I managed to get some time with 2 times FNCS champion Mero. I sat down, I asked all the questions you guys always want to know. How do you get good? How did he go from being a creative player to a solo player? How did he first start placing? How did he end up finding a good team? What are his best tips for you if you want to get your first earnings or if you want to go pro? Literally everything. Mero is an absolute legend. Please check out his YouTube, check out all his socials. You already know who he is, but please support these guys. They take time out of their day to interview with me and give you guys some answers to questions you want. Please support people who do that. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. I'm really proud of this one. It's really, really fun. Throw it on the background if you're cranking out in creative, do all that. If you did enjoy it, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below any other pro you want me to interview. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, hope you enjoy. So what is your what does a normal day look like for you? So like, when do you wake up and like, what do you do? Like, do you edit? Do you start doing edit courses first? Like, what's your kind of like as normal as you can get? Because every day is not the same. Like a 20 day. Let's say it's the week of FNCS and you're just doing like a normal practice day, not the actual like competing day, but like a normal practice day.
Assuming scrims will run, normally I wake up like 1, 2 in the afternoon, like sometimes 12. It just depends, like my schedule, whatever. I don't wake up too late. Like, I'm not going to wake up at like 5, 6 in the afternoon. Yeah. After that, I just chill out and like vibe, I guess. Play a little bit of Fortnite. Don't grind that hard. Just chilling. Just like my chill time.
Okay.
But, like hour before scrims or something, I start like PGing and stuff and like edit coursing, and I'll play scrims, then I'll play for the rest of the night.
Okay.
I don't really play that. I don't play that much like early on.
Okay, so you play later. All right. And then now, so obviously you PG to warm up and stuff. I know you're on controller, so it's a bit different, not doing too much aim training and stuff, but how much time do you reckon you dedicate on like a normal day to like actively practicing creative? Not just like playing with friends, but like, do you like do edit courses? Do you do free builds and like actively try to push it, or you're kind of just warming up and then competing?
Well, I play more. I probably have the most creative played out of like any pro never done this game. I'm not gonna lie. I play too much creative. Like
seriously?
It's like my like this season is like my 4th arena game.
Wow, so you pretty much just sitting creative. Okay, when you say creative, is this like PGing friends? Is this like doing zone wars? Like what does creative look like for you mostly?
Zone wars, drafts, PGing friends.
Okay.
Practice aim a little bit, and like edit courses, just kind of the all around creative. I don't really play arena that much.
And was that like kind of the start as well? Because I mean, a lot of people have said that about you and Day a little bit. Like you were creative warriors and then you started placing. Do you think that's fair to say? Like, were you just hard maining creative and then you started competing? Or like, what did that look like before? Because I'm guessing at some point you had to start scrimming, right? Like, what did that look like?
I've always like been good at Fortnite. During like the pub things, like the first couple of seasons, like I was always like top really good. I mean, I was console, but I was like still like popping off super, super hard, like every single game I played and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And like, I don't know, like I quit the game from like season 8 to like season 10, and then I just played console for season 10 or whatever, and then I got a PC, and like I was just kind of like good. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So you started taking it seriously after, like, so when did you first start like competing properly? Like when was your first kind of like major earnings and you actually started taking competitive more seriously?
Definitely, like I think when I made $4,000 in solo invitational, like a week 2 or something.
Okay, so solo invitational,
like
that's when you jumped on my radar. I'm not gonna lie, that's when you jumped on my radar, because I remember because Monster was hard gassing you up when we were casting one. He's like, this guy's an absolute demon, like super aggressive, and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
that was before I even knew how to say your name, and then and then you started going from there. So solos was kind of your entry, right? Which is usually normal, right? If you're a mech demon, you sit in creative, solos makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I don't know, like, it wasn't even like the final. I didn't do that good in the finals because like drop spot issues, but like, I got like, I think it was either 6. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 6. I got 6 in that. I made like 4K, and I told my mom, and she's like, wow, you just made like $4,000. That's actually like crazy.
That's sick. And is that when you started to be able to focus on it a bit more?
Yeah. I mean, like, my mom was more like she would not have let me move out to like Virginia if like I was like 10K earned. She was like, wait, like this kid might actually like be onto something, you know what I mean? 'Cause I was on a roll for a while. Like during my like season where we won FNCS the first time, I was placing in everything. Possibly the best player that season. Like I didn't miss like solo cash cups. I think I didn't place in 1. In trio cash cups I didn't place in 1, and that's on NA East. And my mom was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I'm looking at here. Yeah, I'm actually looking at your placements around that time period. 'Cause I always bring like people's Fortnite tracking to make sure I know I'm talking. You're right. Yeah, you were placing in a lot. Like if I'm just running through like even qualifiers, like just going through, it's like third qualifier, second qualifier, second cash cup, then it's like seventh cash cup, sixth cash cup, sixth cash cup, third cash cup, fourth. Like that's crazy. Like what? Yeah, okay. You were placing in like everything. Obviously that's interesting as well. So because Day obviously was not that well known of before you and Reverse as well. Like until you guys all started trioing with, it's pretty fair to say that like you started popping off in cash cups and you're on the radar, but I'm guessing was finding a team difficult despite how well you did in solos, or like, you know, you found Day and Reverse. Like what did that kind of look like when you guys very first started playing together?
It was hard finding teammates. I was playing with people that, like, no offense, weren't really on my level.
Yeah,
and it was just kind of like irritating and stuff like that. And then at the time, Reverse, no offense to Reverse, I love Reverse, but he was in like a little bit of a slump, right?
Yeah,
so like, yeah, they kind of like dropped the ego, because people don't know Reverse does have a little bit of ego. I know now people know, but
we saw it a bit recently. We saw it a bit recently, but it's earned though. That's the thing. I mean, my man's now won 2 FNCSs, went to World Cup. Like at a certain point, you're like kind of allowed to have one, right? But yeah, and again,
no, he's always had a little hidden ego. But
okay, but he had to like drop it a bit to play with you.
Yeah, he had to drop it a bit, and he like was looking for one a day and like 50. I don't know if you know 50, but
yeah, I remember 50.
He got us together, and then we played a cash cup together and got second. And then Ninja Battles was conveniently 2 days after that cash cup. We played Ninja Battles, and I'm pretty sure we got third.
And that was a lot of money too. Ninja Battles was good money. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was like about 1K each.
Jeez.
2, maybe.
Nice.
And then after that, like the high money cash cup started coming, like 2K for second. It was nice, and we just kind of like had a little pop off there.
Okay, so did you know Day at all before you guys played together? It was like you, Day, Reverse never played together, didn't really know each other. Okay, wages. Okay, nice.
Yeah, me and Day would play against each other in wagers sometimes.
See, that's tough. So do you think now with a lack of solos tournaments, it's tougher for players to do what you did? Because you can't really prove yourself now without a good team. So like, how do you get people to give you a chance, you know, like they did with you?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know how to explain it, like on the come up players, but I feel like there's not as much as there was during my time. There was good players, but there was like, during like solo invitational, like no one really talked about Furious or whatever, then boom, like on the come up win solo invitational. Now it's like tier 1, you know what I mean? I mean, I guarantee you they're out there. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not as like, there's not a lot of, you kind of see the same names popping up every now and then.
I think that's like even prize money and stuff as well. There's a lack of solos tournaments, there's a lack of motivation and practice around solos. Like FNCS people can practice and get into it. Like if you, obviously now with All-Stars coming up, but if you were good at solos or you had good mechs, you didn't have solo practice though. So you get to stacked games and you just don't know what you're doing, because like how do you get that? So I think it's also prize money. Like you got to look at the difference between obviously what Furious run and All-Stars has got a good prize pool, but for the most part, solo cash cups, it's not enough to be a solo player anymore. So I think everyone's like channeling that towards trios, because it's just what you do, right? You become a better team player.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like a lot of like, I feel like it's just 3 good fighters just like playing the trio cash cups and try to get smarter together, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like the best way to get yourself out there. I mean, there's like other ways to do it and stuff, like Chimp and them, Tabne, they started like popping off, and like, I mean, they're good fighters, don't get me wrong, but they're not like the craziest fighters to ever touch this game.
Yeah, the one I want to move on is obviously like the whole like 3 players get together and then like, you know, try to get smarter. I've noticed you going from more of being that kind of like pure fragger role to really stepping up more as an IGL. Like I can see it every time I watch you guys play trios now as well. Is that something you've always wanted to do? Is that something you're just doing because you feel like you need to, or like you're definitely moving away from just being a fragger to IGLing pretty heavily?
I feel like with Reverse IGLing, as like almost anyone can notice, he's not as assertive as like a Bizzle type IGL, where it's like you're on a leash type stuff. So like I kind of like those kind of IGLs where it's like hard IGLing and stuff like that. We kind of just like play around each other's calls and stuff. Me on the other hand, like knowing that that's gonna be our play style, I was like, Day doesn't really make that much calls and is more of like a hard fragger fighter. So I gotta like kind of like step up my game. So when I need to call something, it's gonna be right every time. I don't like mess up a lot of calls that much.
That's fair. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it is. It's kind of out of necessity. You're right. Reverse is obviously not one who's just going to straight up yell at you guys or tell you what to do, or like, yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, I like that. And then obviously you do have Day who doesn't make a lot of calls, kind of just jumps in and just hard frags out. See, I like that about you guys as well, because so many times I'll watch your guys' team, especially when I'm watching Day, and viewers and stuff will always freak out when Day jumps in and like frags out or dies. And I'm like, you can't have someone who can just jump in and get 6 kills and then accept that, but then get annoyed when they jump in and potentially die. Like you can't have one without the other. That's the one thing I've always loved about you guys. You never give Day a hard time if he goes too aggro and dies, because that's also how you guys have like won tournaments off. But
yeah, I mean, like Day, like when Day was like on the radar for like everyone, like all over Twitter and stuff, like, oh, Day's the greatest player of all time, like
Yeah.
clip over like after clip after clip. I'm like,
It
it's a
puts-
Day. Like I know you, I know you see
Yeah.
the Twitter hype and stuff, bro. But like, not everything's zone wars. You know what I mean? And like
You
I had to
gotta
kind of
win,
like
yeah.
back yeah, I had to back him up from like. I don't know.
No, it
like,
makes sense. It does make sense because it does, right? Because you're not trying to win at that point. You're not trying to win the game. You are trying to pop off and go big. It's kind of like when Reed had his big come up. You're not expecting them to win this game. You're expecting them to kill 8 of the last 10 people and then win it. And if they don't do that, it's not good enough. It's not flashy enough.
Not good enough.
Yeah, it's always the controller players too. Because the same things happen with Scope. Same thing happened with Illis. Like it's always the big controller frags, and everyone puts that kind of mad hype on them. But it is when they step back and start being like, oh, I've got to like place like. Because it doesn't matter if you have those games if you then don't qualify for things. You guys won two FNCSs. That means so much more. Do you ever feel like you fall into Day's shadow because of that a little bit more as well, though?
I definitely, like, at one point, Day was kind of in my shadow. Like, the first FNCS, like, he was kind of, like, below me. Not, like, skill-wise, but, like, I guess you'd say, like...
The way people talked about teams.
Notability-wise. The way people talked about teams. But now Day's kind of done his thing. I mean, him playing with, like, clicks and stuff has got him up there. I mean, I don't really care about, like... more cloud or whatever. I mean,
that's fair.
You know, I just play the game.
You both won FNCSs. Like that's the thing. For me, that was the reverse as well. For me, for the longest time, I've always said that. Like, I don't know what reverse has to do at this point to stop being in that underrated category. Like, you can't go to Worlds and win 2 FNCSs and people still not. I don't know, people still don't give you the respect. He's like, come on, at a certain point. That's why I love the whole video calling out everyone and then winning it, because I feel like doing it in that fashion made people kind of show a bit more respect to reverse. It was like, oh, damn, okay, like you actually called everyone out and then backed it up. If he just kept winning it, like, you know, with the quiet kind of like, oh yeah, we won, GG's. Like you said, you know, people don't think he has an ego, right? I think he needed to show the ego to make people realize like reverse is the real deal. Because it's always like, oh, he's getting carried. So you can't get carried to winning 2 FNCSs and a East. I'm sorry, it's just not possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's like tier 1 pros that just like constantly like bash on reverse. I'm like, the dude's got 350k earned, quad the worlds, like, 2 FNCS wins.
Almost took Ninja to the Worlds. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I know it's a while ago. You can't disrespect that.
You can't, like, I don't know. There's not much.
Is there a reason that you guys don't duo? If you don't mind me asking.
It's just mainly play style. Like,
yeah, fair.
And I just like playing with the hard IGL and duos, and that's why I like playing with Rise.
Okay, because, that makes sense.
Duos, you can't really get away with as much as you can in trios.
Okay, you kind of need that's interesting that you need someone to put the leash on you a little bit too. Like that's kind of funny. That's like I need someone to just kind of hard IGL, because duos, you make that wrong play, you are going to go down for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not as confident in IGL. I feel like I've played trios so much at this point because I played duo FNCS on console because I wasn't really that good back then. Like I was around like I think like 4K earned.
Okay.
But like I played duo FNCS on console, so I never really had like good duo experience. I never placed any of like the duo cups and stuff, so I'm not really as confident.
Yeah, that's fair.
Am in like IGL. Like, I mean, I'm confident now that I played like DreamHacks and stuff, but like I'm not confident enough to like take over like I do in like trios and stuff.
Yeah, speaking of confidence on that, things you don't play, how are you feeling for solos then? Because obviously, like, you know, you're a god solo player. You came up as a solo player, but with that lack of practice in tournaments for a while now, does that make you more nervous? You still feeling pretty good coming into All Stars? Like, how do you feel?
I think I'm nervous for is where these 10 players are gonna go. I mean, as long as I'm uncon and I like actually take time to learn surge routes, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, okay, because that is the hard, but that's the thing though. You got that reputation. I think you'd be one of the last players to drop on. Like, that's where reputation matters so much. That was what was so impressed about your guys' first FNCS win, because you did it out of like a nothing drop spot. And I feel like you kind of have to when you're getting people's attention the first time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We landed in the trenches, bro.
The trench, like Fort Crumpet and like John Wick. And this is obviously before that. So any of my viewers watching, like, that was not a good drop at the time. And last game, you got Fort Crumpet taken, right? And it was because you guys found like a water llama that you even managed to have anything.
It was more than one game, bro. We had stuff taken for like day 2, bro.
Really? It was most of day 2? Damn, because I remember, because obviously we had eyes on you because you know going into in the lead. You went into day 2 in the lead, didn't you?
I think you did.
Did you go into day 2 in first? Were you first after day 1? Yeah. So yeah, I remember we had eyes on you. I couldn't remember. I know at least the last few games, definitely people started to take it. That's brutal. But back on the solos. Wait, where are you dropping?
Dirty.
Okay, so you're still sticking to dirty and like major PY. What do you think about how the kind of, obviously qualifying as a trio? I don't know. Is Day or Reverse going dirty before I ask this question?
No.
Okay, so you guys split up. So, okay, how do you feel about how there are just whole trios dropping whole POIs? A little bit shady, nothing you can do about it. Like, where do you stand on that? Again, obviously be as honest or, you know, dodge as much as you want, because I know it's kind of like, could put you in an awkward spot with other pros.
I mean, it's kind of like almost always how solos have been. I feel like this FNCS is kind of getting a little ridiculous with like full trios splitting POIs.
Yeah,
So
I mean they qualified as trios.
like,
I think that's just it's always been a problem in solos, and then Epic made the qualifications for a solo tournament through trios. It's just
through trios. Like I don't know. I think it's like for example, you're like no shots at like Sprite's trio, but having like Bright, Tahi, and Gabe full splitting a POI into like sectioned off spots. I don't know. It just looks a little like ridiculous to me. I mean, hey, they could, I'm not like bashing on them or anything because like obviously other people do that. It's just like a prime example. Like you look at the like drop maps and stuff. It's really sectioned off.
Hilarious. Like I was making this joke on stream. Like I was showing people the tweets, and it's like, all right, dropping this part of Sweaty, and it's like sectioned, and then you look at the other one. It's the puzzle. You literally fit the puzzle together, and the lines just match. Like it looks too perfect. Yeah, that's why I thought I asked, because I didn't know how the pros stand on it, and as someone who obviously is in with their trio and not dropping together, kind of, you know, it says a lot. But again, like you said, you can't hate on them. Like it's big money on the line. It's almost like kind of weird not to, but I guess you also don't want to fight your teammates though. I feel like it's weird. Like you as someone who's a confident solo player, I'd like to drop down knowing if I find a gold spaz in this chest and I'm confident I'm gonna go kill that guy next to me. And knowing that's your teammate, I feel like would just honestly be a little bit weird as well. I don't know. It's kind of strange.
It's always kind of bad like that where you never really like, I don't know. Unless you're in the position too, like, and you're in a fight and you don't know it's them, but like, I don't know.
You don't want to hesitate either. You kind of don't want to think you're about to just destroy your teammate's chance of money, especially if they're doing well. Like, there's money on the line for every win. You could be in like 11th, 12th, trying to have a pop-off game, and you're about to fight your teammate who you know is in first. Like, you just don't want that. Like, it's competing. You want to kill him if you kill him, and you go on if you go on.
I mean, like, I play with the mindset that if, like, even if Day's in my way, bro, or like reverse, like even if I know it's them and they're like open endgame and like I need a refresh, like that's like. I have like you gotta do what you got. Like, I'm not just you're competing. Like you can't just like
it's a job. It's money.
I don't know, that's why I don't really like I like solos, but in a way I don't like how easy it is to get away with certain stuff in solos.
Okay. Like, well, hey, as a mech demon, man, trust me, I hate that. I'm looking at it from like the boomer standpoint, like the game sense. When someone can just hook in a box and just get a full refresh, and other players can't do that, it looks insane to me.
No, I'm not really talking about that. I'm more or less talking about like how easy it is to kind of like get away with like not intentionally like shooting your teammates and stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess you saw that. It's solos is weird. Yeah, you all rock the same skin. You see them in the feed. You just don't. Yeah, I mean, I was on stream the other day. Let's be honest. Half these guys are in calls or more. They're all in calls because they're bored, but you get information. Like it is. Yeah, it's why solos is my favorite game mode. But I think with those issues, it brings it back a little bit. That's why I always lean towards duos. Duos, I think, has to be the best game mode for me.
I feel like solos, like I'm not saying anybody intentionally does that. I feel like it's more about unintentional thing. You're chilling in their call.
Yeah.
And then like you just kind of figure out like
is them
where they're at on the map, and you're like, oh yeah, that's them.
That's them.
Just, like,
and you hesitate.
And just not do nothing. You hesitate.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I play the game with anonymous mode on, player mode on. Like I don't even know who I'm fighting. I could be fighting Kanata. I could be fighting anybody. Like I just I don't think about.
Do you think that's a confidence thing as well? Like, do you think that's the thing? Obviously, the conversation, the ego comes up a lot. And like you said, you know, you said you were really good when you first started. You've always been kind of good at it. Do you think you need that little bit of an ego? Like, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting, I'm going to beat them anyway?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to lose a single fight.
Damn, so that's sick. When did you get to that point? Were you always kind of like that? Has it been like a recent thing? Have you just built that up? Like, how did you get to that point?
Just kind of like hearing from other pros how like everyone's scared of like me and Day and stuff, and I'm just like,
you built up reputation, that's for sure. Yeah, you're definitely up there.
That's like cool. A little bit of an ego.
Okay, what if you had any advice to give to someone who was trying to like get to your level from where you were? Is there anything in particular you recommend they do? Like that can be as down to literally you should scrim less, creative more, or you should do this. Or is there any kind of advice you give people that you wish more like up and coming pros knew?
If you're more of a mechanical player and you don't really have a brain, you should definitely be playing scrims more. But like actually like learning from the scrims, like I've always told this like my whole entire friend group, you can't just play scrims to play scrims. You got to play scrims to like learn something. Like you can't just play them to play them, but you just ready up and play them. You know, like you play arena to like get clips. You know what I mean? Like that's a specific thing you play for. You can't play scrims just to say you played them, and when you don't place, get mad.
True. Like, yeah, it's active practice. It's time spent actively practicing. Like that's why people like Sentinel popping off as well, because you go back, you put in the time, you put in the effort. Yeah.
Yeah, but like with like I guess less mechanical players that know they're really really smart, definitely like stick to creative and like learn how to fight. Because like honestly, in like these more recent seasons, there's not really a lot of IGLs that are just completely horrible at fighting no more.
Yeah.
Like every IGL
It's
can fight a
progressed.
little bit.
Yeah, it's progressed. In the same way as well with fraggers. You can't just be a complete fragger. So you're big on work on the weaknesses. Figure out what your weakness is. Don't just like double down on mechs and be a wage warrior forever. You've got to learn. Yeah. I mean, it is. I was saying this the other day. That whole mentality of like, or they're the IGL because they're the older, smarter, like slower mechanical players. Like, no, like you said with the reverse. You guys IGL a little bit each. You just, everyone's becoming demons. You can't get away with, oh, I'm the IGL or I'm the fragger. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you have to have both because it's just gotten too far with Fortnite these days.
The skill gap like keeps like when the skill gap goes up, it's either you're with like you can't stick back. Like Reverse knew like his fighting needed to improve and like he learned ways to like play around us and stuff. And like he just like he's not like falling back.
Yeah, for sure.
Anymore.
And that's what you got to do as well. It's also, he's not going to be the entry fragger when you got you and Day on a team. Like, it's never going to be that. But even sitting back, spraying, like, pressure, like, that's just, you can fall into that role. And I love that about Reverse. Because, like I said, he's got a bit of an ego, but I feel like he didn't have an ego about that at all. Like, if you guys are pushing fights, he's definitely not going to be on the front of top jumping in the box first. Because, like, why would you? It's just stupid to.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, last question as well. You mentioned friend groups. I hear that from so many pros. Do you think that's super important or do you not?
No. I've never... before I started placing and stuff like that, I mean, like, I'm in a couple of friend groups, but I've never been in, well, not like now I am, but like, that's just, I don't really like chill on them, but like my main friend group, so that I chill in, I've never been in any pro friend groups. I think the excuse of that you're not in a friend group is kind of stupid in my opinion.
Cool. I mean, I like it, man. I mean, I've kind of always agreed with that, but because I'm not a pro and I've never been in those friend groups, I've never like, sure, being around good people and stuff and getting advice and, you know, being motivated was always going to help. But I feel like using it as an excuse for why you're not good is a bit much. Like it can help you if you're motivated and stuff, but surely it's not the be all end all. Like if I'm not in a friend group, I can't place.
Like I've seen like countless tweets from like certain people and stuff saying like, oh, I'm not in a friend group, I'm so unlucky. But like if you just take the extra step like I did, it's like it's something, honestly, it's probably easier to place without a friend group, to be honest, because then like you just like, I don't know, for some people, like I just noticed that how if they get told something, they change their whole entire play style and like I don't know, they're just not comfortable and they're kind of just like, I don't know. But I feel like friend groups, it could be hit or miss with some people. You could get in a friend group and you could place more and learn more, but in my opinion, you don't really need it.
I think, it makes you hungry. It leaves you hungry as well. You want to prove yourself. You want to jump up there. Like, I mean, there's been some weird stuff with friend groups recently. Like, just like, there's like the punching bag, the friend group, they just get made fun of and like ruins their confidence, which has always been something I found fascinating from the outside in. Or even the like looking for friend group. I'm like, bro, like, I feel like it doesn't work that way. Find people that you just enjoy hanging out with, who make you feel good and have fun with. Like, friends aren't people you just like sign up with. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that develops. I've always found that odd. But again, an older dude in the scene who doesn't compete, I've always just been like, maybe I just don't get it.
Yeah, no, there's literally like there's people in my friend group. There's people that play like League of Legends. There's a manager. Like there's Fortnite players that don't play. There's Valorant players. Like it's not even like a pro Fortnite friend group. It's literally just a bunch of people that vibe with each other.
That's sick. All right, man. I'm gonna let you go. But so, do you think you could do 3 FNCSs in a row? Like, how confident are you guys coming into the next one? That's my last thing. Obviously, you've done 2. That is ridiculous. Do you think you got a good chance at 3 or?
100%. If we get good RNG, yeah.
Okay. I mean, okay, RNG. I mean, that's the hard part. I'm gonna let you go. I was gonna jump into a whole nother conversation about that. Thank you, Mero. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for jumping on with me. I do really appreciate that. All right, guys, that does it for another video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, please check out all Mero's socials. Check out his YouTube, subscribe. He is honestly one of the best guys in the scene, which I'm sure you just got. Super down to earth guy. Please show him some love. I really hope you enjoyed this interview video. If you did, comment who else you'd like me to interview. Please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.